'Tis the season of gifting and halls to deck, and the who's in Who Newville were in love with new tech. Where can we find Sonos and Samsung and Nintendo, they shouted. Would they find it in one place? This they questioned and doubted. When suddenly a Who yelled, Walmart's the place to start! And each Who added headphones, TVs, and games to their carts. With Walmart, their shopping was done in a flurry. They cried out, Who knew? And ordered their gifts in a hurry. Shop the latest tech gifts in the Walmart app.
Before we get into this week's episode, a quick question. Have you joined us over on Substack yet? If not, then consider this your personal invitation. Head over to chasingexcellence.email, sign up. It's free. It's the best way to get even more out of these episodes, out of Chasing Excellence. You can get listener guides, essays, challenges, and more. The link is in the episode description, so it's just a quick tap. We would love to see you over there. Okay, onward. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to the show. Hello, Ben. How the heck are you?
I'm good, Patrick. Really good.
We're going to talk today about complaining. We're not going to complain.
So fun. What a great way to lead into something, right? Yeah. Especially for our audience. Everyone's riveted right now.
Don't worry.
My gosh.
I heard you tell a story. I think this was in the summer. We haven't had a chance to talk about it here on the show. A story about how you sort of like the origin stories of a bit of a new framework for you, for us. So I wanted you to start this conversation. If you could give us the story one more time, lead us into this new framework all around complaining, and then we're going to take it from there. So wherever you think is the best place to start, let's start there.
Once upon a time, there was a boy. So the idea was the kind of like the birth child of this framework happened when I'm lucky enough to, both my parents are still alive. My mom lives on the beach on Cape Cod. It's where we spend our summers. I had this amazing day, and towards the end of the day, I'm on the beach with my mom, and we're there, and she was complaining because these storms come in, and they bring in a lot of debris, like twigs, seaweed, rocks, and her beach was a mess. Mm-hmm. And I'm cleaning up the beach, and she comes down, and she's just trying to make conversation, a good mom like she is.
Yeah.
And she starts just like complaining about how messy the beach is. And you always kind of like, was like should I go here or not? Especially with like your mom, you're not sure where this is going to go. But I was like, I'm going to call this out and just see what happens. I was like, kind of first world problems, right, Mom? Just kind of like, I didn't want to like, how could we be complaining, right? This is right around the 4th of July. We just had this amazing, amazing, amazing day. And I'm loving every bit of life and everyone around me. And we had this like day that was truly complaint free. Like everyone's just talking about how lucky we are. And that was her saying that like, oh, this beach. It was so jarring to me that I had to kind of like highlight it, underline it, and have my mom try to like reread it. Like, actually, Mom, no. This is, my response was first world problems, right? Just trying to make light of it. And to my mom's credit, because you don't know if that's going to turn into some sort of like lecture back.
Yeah. Or at least an eye roll.
Yeah. Or worse. Or yeah, she walks away like, and oh my gosh, now like, to her credit, she was like, she paused and she just kind of like, you should see it reflect a little bit. And she was like, yeah, probably not even a first world problem, right? And it was like, oh, yes. Okay, cool. Well, as I think a lot of us do when we have conversations, or maybe not, I don't know, I mulled that over in my head for 72 hours. Like I just kept on thinking about it. And I think about complaints, and I think about them a lot. And it's not complaints. What I'm thinking about is the stories we tell ourselves. Yeah. Shout out Mark England, right? Yeah. Like I think about our mindset, and I think about our default operating system. And I think about how we're programmed as humans to search for issues to look to solve. That's like what the brain is set up to do. And what I came away with after that 3 days of kind of like not being able to let this go in my head was this sort of category 1 through 5 of complaints. Much like a category 1 through 5 of storms, right? So there's a category 1 storm and a category 5 storm. And just to kind of put a little like to color between the lines of this analogy, A category 1 would be a light drizzle, right? Which means that it's a mild annoyance, but there's no meaningful consequences that come from that, right? It's going to be gone in minutes, certainly not going to really disrupt anything. A category 2 would be like a thunderstorm, where you need to make some small adjustments, right? But by tomorrow, nothing's really changed. Yep. You know, you could think of it like a thunderstorm happens during my son's soccer game. They have to either postpone it or cancel it. But by the next day, life is going on as normal. There's no real difference. A category 3 would be like a tropical storm, where there's real consequences and it takes some real energy to solve this thing. A category 4 would be like a hurricane, where your future is different now. It requires your full energy. It requires support from other people, and you need to adapt to something. And then there's the category 5, which is like an existential quake, right? Where life will never be the same. This requires emotional and spiritual rebuilding, right? Like your town got devastated. Like Puerto Rico experienced one of these, like massive, massive destruction. So if you take that kind of like levels of impact, levels of importance, if you want to use that word, magnitude, we could kind of put complaining alongside of these things. Like, what is the thing that's happening in your life? Is this a light drizzle, a tropical storm, or a category 5? And we can sort of we can use these to go, how appropriate or how much attention do we want to give to these things? AKA, is it worth complaining? Because we're not robots, and it's okay. I don't want to pretend like that it's not human to kind of sometimes go like, well, this sucks, right? Okay, I get it. But if you start to kind of like, we have that kind of like framework for a storm. Now, if you put some examples to what these things might be, and then you go, okay, based off of these examples, what should our response be? What should our mindset be? And what's the lessons we learn? Right? So category 1, these momentary frictions. Remember, it's just like, it's the light drizzle. This would be some like you hit some red lights on the way to work. Someone makes your coffee and uses the wrong kind of milk, right? Someone's walking slow, a pedestrian. Like Heather freaks out about pedestrians. We played this game of, I might have talked about this before, which was like, if you could get rid of one thing in the world, what would you get rid of? And people were saying like, like terrorism. People said like hunger.
What did
people
Heather
said
say?
People said like poison ivy. Heather's was pedestrians.
Just people walking slowly across the street?
Yes, people walking slowly across the street. Yeah.
Nice, Heather.
Okay. So yeah, pedestrians. Something like you're about to listen to your favorite song on Spotify and an ad pops up, right? Your phone's not connecting to your car. There's the example I used when we explained the first time is like you're on this bike ride and you get a headwind, right? Like these are like momentary annoyances. They're not real. Okay. So here's what we want to do with these guys is this is your chance. This is your opportunity to build your character. This is the practice of non-reaction. Now, you're going to, like, when the headwind pops up, your first thing is like, and then you're like, okay, wait a minute. Wait, it's not real. Like pedestrian, and you're like, okay, let it go. Like the idea is, can you smile and let it go? These are not problems. They're training reps. So it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days. So don't give it more meaning right now. These are the opportunities for emotional conditioning. That's what these are. Okay. Then we have the next ones, right? Which is that category 2. Remember, this is the thunderstorm, right? Which is like, we're going to have to reschedule Bodie's game. But the next day, it's no big deal. These are small things that, right? Like your flight's delayed for 2 hours. Your kid forgot their lunch, and now you have to drive it to school. That's a real world one, right? You get a parking ticket. You're on a Zoom call and the Wi-Fi kicks out, right? You spill your coffee on your pants on the way to work. Like
your cat
by
gets
tomorrow,
stuck in a tree right before you're about to record a podcast.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. That's still such an amazing story where you had to like, did you have to get like a 35-foot ladder or something ridiculous?
We had to get somebody with a 35-foot ladder.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. That's such a great example. Yes. Your cat gets stuck in 35 feet up in a tree. Okay, so here's the deal on these ones. These ones, just like the thunderstorm, is like how quickly can you respond? How quickly can you react? How quickly can you pivot? These require flexibility, not emotion, right? This is the tactical response, not the dramatic one. So the questions we should be asking ourselves like, okay, what do I need to solve this thing, right? Do I need to adjust my calendar? Do I need to make a phone call to somebody? Can I hire someone to do this? If yes, it is solvable and not tragic, right? Mm-hmm. That's the idea. Here's like the takeaway from this. High performers suffer less because they solve things faster. It's flexibility and adaptation. Okay, we move on to category number 3, right? This is the tropical storm. These have real consequences and require some energy. So these are things like you get passed over for a promotion. You get an injury, right? You tear your meniscus, a autoimmune disease pops up. You have to have shoulder surgery. There's real tension in your marriage. Your car breaks down and you need to get it fixed. Maybe like you have to fire someone. Like that would be like that. These are real things. So here's the idea behind these ones is these, just like the tropical storm, these deserve real attention. So in the first ones, like let it go, roll off, smile. Then it becomes like this thing of like, hey, use it as a training tool to get better, but just respond and react quickly. This one is the understanding that these are serious, but what we want to do is ask ourselves like, are they permanent, right? It's not are they as big of a deal as we're making them out to be in the moment? Mm-hmm. So yes, we can give them some attention. Yes, we can give them some energy. We should. They require energy to solve these things, just like the tropical storm. We don't want to minimize these things, but we also don't want to catastrophize them, right? These are not the end of days. These are not life-moving obstacles. These are things that are going to pop up, but we can work through these things. So slow down and respond, right? Don't overreact and engage intentionally. That's the idea behind these guys. Okay, category 4, right? These are the life-altering events. This is a hurricane. This is the big ones, right? This is your future is now different. They require full energy, full support, and you have to adapt to this kind of new thing. This is cancer diagnosis. Mm-hmm. This is divorce. This is your business suddenly, this would be like COVID. Yep. Your business suddenly loses its biggest clients, right? And now revenue is 40% less. This is like your parents getting dementia. This is your house floods, your house burns, like major things, right? So for these guys, it's about not panicking, right? This is serious, and you need to rally. We need to be able to create some clarity and focus on what matters. Because what's going to happen is we're going to get into this fight or flight, catastrophizing, and we're going to get in this sewer cycle. And what we really need to do is kind of simplify, reduce the noise, focus on what matters. And we have to recognize that we're probably not going to be able to go on this one alone. We need to be able to like kind of do this with other people. This is where we rally the crew, and we realize that this is an identity shaping event. So you are now going to come out of this as a different person, right? No one's going to come out of a cancer diagnosis or house burning down or parents having dementia. You're going to emerge differently out of this scenario. So who are you going to be on the other side? Are you going to be able to look back on this with pride or with regret in how you handled it? And the big one out of this one is rally the crew. Like this is where you need other people. The hurricane brings people together. We need that. And the category 5 is this big, the existential. This is the earth-shattering one. Life will never be the same. Requires spiritual and emotional rebuilding. These are things like your child being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, your spouse dying, being told that you have a terminal illness, a catastrophe that leaves you with a permanent disability, some sort of like devastating betrayal, like your best friend and your wife start hooking up, right? Like these are major things that are going to change. Life will never be the same. The idea behind here is survival first.
Yep.
Right? It's like you don't have to try to it's not about making meaning of things, right? It's not about what's the mindset hack. It's not about like what's the tricks I should be using. It's about put one foot in front of the other. If we can, we want to try to, the only thing we want to try and do is pull back away from the why me. That's the only thing from a mental thing that we're going to try and stay away from. And instead of why me, it's what now. Like, what do I need to do now to just take one step forward? I'm going to try my damnedest to make it through this day.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. This is sacred ground. You are being rewritten in the moment. You will not be the same person on the other side of this thing. Potentially for the better, right? Like, we just don't know that just yet. It's that wise old farmer type thing, right? We don't have enough perspective to know how we're going to be rewritten. So the goal is just survive. Get through this thing one day in front of the other. Try not to go into the sewer cycle of why me, and just go, what is the productive thing? Next. Get through it, fall asleep, wake up the next day, next. Because truly the only thing that's going to help with any of these things is time and space.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can get some time and space away from these existential, catastrophic, shattering your world moments, they can kind of fall into a category 4. But in the moment, they're 5. Mm-hmm. And we just got to survive the 5s. So that kind of brings this, I just wanted to lay out that framework of this, because it can kind of lay some language and understanding for the conversation going forward.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, online therapy for when the days get darkest. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/excellence. Shorter days don't have to be so dismal, and it's important to remember that we're healthier when we have a crew and when we have support. As seasons change and days grow darker sooner, it can be a tough time for many. Just as it can take a little courage to send that message or grab coffee with someone you haven't seen for a while, reaching out for therapy can feel difficult too, but worth it. You know from your own experience how valuable it is to have outside perspective when you're working through something. BetterHelp makes it incredibly accessible. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed. They do the initial matching work for you, and with over 30,000 therapists, they've got an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client reviews. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/excellence, BetterHelp.com/excellence. Take the first step. We're brought to you by Function Health, the only platform giving you access to test over 100 biomarkers and the insights to actually do something about it. Learn more and get a $100 credit toward your membership at functionhealth.com/excellence. Most people only think about their immune system after they get sick, but your body gives you signals long before the first cough or the fever shows up. We chose Function because it helps us see what's happening beneath the surface. Markers like vitamin D, white blood cell count, HSCRP for inflammation, ferritin for iron stores, and cortisol for stress. These could help explain why you get sick more often or take longer to recover. Function helps you gain insights about the weak spots early, better understand your overall health, and actually prepare for the season ahead. Inside of Function, you get test results tracked over time in one secure place. So don't wait for the next bug to hit. Get ahead of it with real data from your body at functionhealth.com/excellence. First 1,000 listeners who sign up at that link get a $100 credit. We're sponsored this time around by Element, the electrolyte drink that delivers a science-backed dose of sodium, potassium, and magnesium with 0 sugar. Get a free sample pack with any order at drinkelement.com/excellence. That's LMNT, the letters. I've been using Element for years now, and it's become one of those non-negotiables in my daily routine, especially when I'm training hard or traveling or it's just really dang hot out. Most people don't realize that if you're eating a whole foods-based diet, you probably need to add electrolytes to feel and perform your best. And here is some great news for Element lovers. What started as a seasonal drop is now a forever favorite. Lemonade salt is here to stay as part of Element's permanent flavor lineup. Mix it up with some water, add it to your iced tea for a salty Arnold Palmer, or get creative with a pitcher of salty lemonade and fresh fruit. Element is formulated for anyone on a mission to restore health through hydration, perfectly suited for athletes, folks who are fasting, or those following keto, low carb, or whole food diets. Get your free sample pack with any order at drinkelement.com/excellence. I think the first thing I want to bring back up is something you said right at the top, which is, I don't know if you said this exactly, but this is what I wrote down, which is that complaints are stories. Right? Which is, I think, a really useful reminder, because if a complaint is a story, then it is within our power to tell a different story. And so we can translate that complaint into either something neutral or something positive. Even just neutral is a benefit, right? If we go from negative to neutral, that's a win. And then I think everything else you laid out is recognizing that each of these, even to the degree that it is, like even the category 4 and 5 stuff, the really hard stuff, they are still stories, much harder stories, much harder to find a foothold in. But to your point, we can figure out where we can find a foothold and do what we can with what we've got. But again, recognizing, okay, these are stories, category 1, category 2, category 3, these are stories that I'm telling myself. And so when these things happen, we can have the awareness that we talk about all the time. We can say, wait, what is this? What is this? What level is this? Is this going to matter tomorrow? Is this going to matter in a month?
Yep.
And it all makes me think about two things which are related, which is one, your bracelet, which we've talked about certainly before in the past, the never whine, never complain, never make excuses bracelet. Ooh. So I want you to remind us what that is. And then even that is a hearkening back to a very core theme of our conversations over the years, and a core theme of Stoicism, and it's almost a cliche at this point, which is control what you can control. Yep. And so thinking about these categories with this framework in mind, where does that end? Where does the actual practice of awareness, daily awareness, in the moment awareness fit into this as it relates to what we can do now that we have an intellectual understanding of this framework?
Okay, wow, there's a lot there. Okay, so what do we do now that we have this intellectual framework?
This language. In the same way that we've got the mindset continuum language, like just having the language is so helpful.
Yes. Having the language is so helpful, but here's the big thing, is the understanding that not everything deserves the same response.
Yes.
That's the punchline, right? So,
and if you don't distinguish if it's 1 or 2 or 3, and you give everything the same response,
that's exactly right.
What happens?
That's exactly right. Suffering is miscategorization. Category 4s and 5s they need your attention, right? For survival. You're about to, a hurricane, if a hurricane's coming and you don't batten down the hatches, if you don't prep, if you don't get to a safe place, really bad things can happen. They need your attention. If you give that same level of attention to categories 1 and 2, I mean, first off, just calling it what it is, that is lack of emotional maturity. That's what that is. We have to be able to recognize the differences between these two things and treat them differently. So it's like on one side, they're all the same. That is emotional immaturity. What is it when you are able to understand and categorize them and recognize what they are? That's wisdom. That's what that is. So it becomes this thing of where we're not trying to avoid life. It's the understanding. The wisdom is the understanding that we're not trying to avoid 4s and 5s, right? It's about building the type of human that can meet the 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
The only way we can do that is if we treat the 1s and 2s as training. We have to pick up those light weights so we are able to meet when catastrophe actually hits. We are strong enough. We are ready to heed the call. If we just treat everything the same, we get blown out with every single one. Mm-hmm. And you can people that are listening to this are probably like nodding along because they're that type of people. But we all know people that get freaked out when the waiter brings the wrong order.
Yep.
Right? We get people that are like freaked out when they hear something on the news. Like we can't get overwhelmed by drizzle, right? Okay, so like your kid's game got rained out. No big deal. So we have to understand that these minor frictions are just that. They're inconveniences. Mm-hmm. They're not the things that we should pull everything into. This gets into where you were just kind of saying this mindset 101. I think kind of like where I would start with that is like, and we're talking about mindset. The first one is just understanding that mindset is the story you tell yourself. Mm-hmm. I think it's so powerful just so you can start to pay attention to that. And the next one is, are you paying attention to the things that you can change? If you're paying attention to everything, meaning there's that circle of influence, the things that you can control and change, which are so limited. And then there's that circle of concern, the things that pull on your attention. Complaining is giving attention to negative things that are outside of your control. Mm-hmm. We talked about this kind of like a decision tree before on the show, which is you ask, do I have a problem? If the answer is no, don't complain. Like it sounds ridiculous, but like, okay, you have to actually ask yourself that, like, is there actually a problem? Because sometimes you end up in like crowds outside of our bubble, right? And people actually complain when there is no problem. It's just their language. It's how they talk. It's
sort of like the story you told at the start of this, which is like your mom just came out and she was just making conversation and it came out as a complaint. This
is how people make conversation. Like, can you believe the traffic on the way to the game?
Yeah.
Like that. Like we don't, like that's a negative. It's outside your control and you're bringing attention to something you can't control. And this sounds ridiculous. Like, why is he hammering down this? The reason is because of the reticular activation system, the frequency illusion, which is what you pay attention to, you will see more of. You're going to buy a new Honda Pilot. So what do you see on the road everywhere? You see Honda Pilots on the road everywhere. When you're thinking about putting shutters up on your house, and all of a sudden you notice shutters on everybody's houses. It's like this thing that you see everywhere. What you look for, you see more of. Mm-hmm. If you talk about and give attention to negative things, you're going to see more negative things in your life. We know that people with a negative mindset get outperformed by people with a neutral or positive mindset. I should say it the other way around. A positive or even better, a neutral mindset. So if we want to improve our lives, perform better in our lives, your language matters. Like you complaining is holding you back. I just read this book yesterday, and it was about EQ in the workplace. And it was in terms of investment banking. And it was how, like, yes, investment banking has a lot to do with intelligence. It has a lot to do with data. The number one thing that determines success, even in such a numerical profession like investment banking, is emotional intelligence. And it sounds so ridiculous, but what they highlighted in there was smiling, was making eye contact, was being enthusiastic, was having the right tone in your voice, was in speaking up appropriately. One of the things that the author found out really early, because he had a great senior person in he worked for JP Morgan, ended up becoming wildly successful, was early on when he was a junior analyst, he was giving some reports back to his senior advisor. And the person said, you did a phenomenal job with this, but do you not like working here? And he was like, what do you mean? No, I think this is pretty awesome. I think it's awesome. She goes, you don't act like it. Like, just think of that. Like, what energy are you bringing into the world? If you want to elevate this is like step one in my world, in my approach, is like become physically fit enough so that you are creating the right hormones coming through your body, right? It means like get active. Step 2 is be enthusiastic. Like get excited about life. And the telltale sign that you are not that is you're focusing on negative things, aka complaining.
Yeah.
So this is why this is kind of an important conversation. It's not just because like you and I don't like surrounding ourselves with people that are negative.
Yep.
This is a huge part of chasing what truly matters, which is a fulfilled life. We need to move ourselves forward in the conversation we're having in our own heads. That conversation comes out in our words. And if our words are negative, complaining, again, I'll define that as bringing attention to negative things that you have no control over. Because if you have control over them, now we should talk about that. You know, you having a conversation like, Bill, you are not meeting expectations. You came up short in the last 3 projects that you were supposed to deliver to the team. Those are negative things, but you have control over that as the manager, the boss, the owner, whatever it might be. We need to address those things. That's not complaining. Complaining has a lot to do with, are you coming to this with a solution-oriented mindset? So if you're not bringing a solution-oriented mindset to this conversation, the traffic on the way to this game sucked, huh? Like, or you're watching your kids play soccer. I don't know why I keep on going to this, but like you watch your kids soccer game and like, this referee, what the hell? Like, okay, but like, what are we doing? Like, there's nothing we are going to do that's going to change that. Like, we're bringing attention to negative, and you bring negative attention, so you're going to see more of it. Now, the next call that's kind of gray, maybe it was a 50-50. You're like, see, look at that. Like, we got to learn to kind of let these category 1s and 2s just roll off our back. Yeah. Smile and use them again. Use them as the reps. They are the training reps to help us get better at this.
Yeah. I also think about, I love that you're bringing up attention, because I also think about the fact that our attention, as much as we think we can multitask, as much as we can think we can pay attention to lots of things at the same time, the truth is we can't. All we can do is context shift. And so when your attention is pointed at, I like to think of attention as sort of like a laser beam. When your attention is pointed at the negative, at the thing you don't want, at the discomfort, at the same time, everything you just said, it doubles down on itself and it compounds. But at the exact same time, you're also stealing from yourself the ability to see the good in the exact same moment, right? And so your mom on the beach that day decided to focus, not decided consciously, but decided to focus on the junk everywhere instead of, for example, the fact that her son was on the beach helping her clean it up. Same exact moment. It's just, where did she point the laser beam of her attention? I think just because you keep talking about soccer, I think about the first in baseball this year. My youngest is 8 and he was the youngest on his team and he really wanted to pitch. And so we'd been practicing pitching in the yard and in the driveway. But I told him, like, listen, if he's not the youngest, he was the second youngest on the team. I'm like, you're probably not going to get a chance to pitch this year. You're just probably like, your coach probably is going to let the older kids do it. And then literally the next game, I showed up to the game like 10 minutes late and I walked up to the field and he was on the pitcher's mound pitching. One, just really cool. I was really proud of him for saying yes to the opportunity. But the reason I bring it up is the ump that we had in that particular game, well, like clearly didn't want to be there. He was like an 18-year-old kid. He just was like, he wanted to go home. And so every pitch was a ball. Totally fine. It's great.
That's going to make for a long game. That 18-year-old should just understand that he wants to go home. Every pitch is a strike.
Everything's a strike. But all the other parents were complaining about the ump. And I was like, and my kid was pitching. And all I was thinking about is, how cool is it that he got to pitch today when I had just told him it was probably going to be another year before he got a chance to pitch. And that's what I mean by, like, our attention is a laser beam. It's like, where are you going to point it? And what are you going to see when you point it, when you choose to point it in the positive, or again, even the neutral versus the negative?
Yeah.
So I just think it's really, like, both sides of that is really important to recognize.
Yeah. I think it's really important. And I like that description of, like, it's a laser beam. You can't kind of like,
it's not a floodlight.
Spray it out. It's not like It's not a sprinkler where it's just kind of like going everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
It is a, you put the hose on
It's a
jet
hose.
stream.
Yeah, that's a better metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm envisioning like spraying someone. But I just want to call out as well, like, there are times based off of this framework that it's not about trying to find the sunshine and the rainbows in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are times that it is a hurricane. What you're saying is spot on. When it is a category 1 or a category 2, yes. Oh my gosh, you're going to miss the beauty of life because of where your attention is being drawn into. There is so much awesomeness here, right? Again, it's a light drizzle. Okay, so your kid's game because of the thunderstorm got canceled. Okay, now you can go out to ice cream with him or whatever. It'd be weird to do that in a rainstorm, I guess, but you can go and whatever. Yeah, there's new opportunities, right? As opposed to if you're all upset about it. But ... when we get into those category 4s and 5s, it's okay. It's okay to be negative. It's okay for your attention to go to the negative. And if you try to just create this is people like, you need to grieve. Like, if you lose a spouse and you're like, I'm just going to find the positive in this. Your kid gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And you're like, I'm going to find the positive in this. That's not reality, right? It's a false thing. This is where the optimist cracks because they're just trying to find the positive in everything. And what we want to do is go like, embrace the harsh reality. This is what I'm dealing with right now. This is going to take real work, real attention. This is going to hurt and it's going to suck. Okay, let's go. Do I need support? Do I need to change things? Like, I have to kind of really, really go at this thing. So understanding that the laser beam in these little ones could just be robbing you of your life completely.
Yeah.
As we get to the big ones, like, it's like if that laser beam is giving you feedback, it's like a tractor beam that pulls you in. We got 3 things now, right? Laser beam, hose, and tractor, which gets you sucked in. If it's sucking you into negative, like, guess what? You're in the midst of a real thing, of a life-changing event.
If you're like me, your skin needs some extra care this time of the year. Between colder weather and the holidays fast approaching, it can feel like a nonstop stress factory for your system. That's why I've continued to rely on OneSkin. You know how much I love their OS01 products, and it's been invaluable to have a daily routine that delivers both powerful skincare and longevity benefits because I'm going to live forever. At the core is their patented OS01 peptide, the first ingredient proven to target senescent cells, the root cause of wrinkles and loss of elasticity. OneSkin just launched their limited edition holiday sets, including the Nightly Rewind gift set, one of those rare gifts that's both impressive and useful, featuring their best-selling face moisturizing, their new peptide lip mask, and a cooling gua sha tool. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, gua sha. Each component is designed to work together as your body enters its natural nightly repair mode, helping renew skin at the cellular level. Try OneSkin for 15% off using the code EXCELLENCE at oneskin.co/excellence. We are brought to you by Shopify, the commerce platform behind millions of billions of businesses and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/excellence. There's never been a better time to start your own business. The opportunity today is incredible. But with that opportunity comes real challenges, figuring out the right tools and systems, understanding sales and marketing, managing inventory, processing payments, and all the things that come along with building a business. That's where Shopify shines. They help with all of that. Think of Shopify as your commerce gym buddy. They've got world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. They give you hundreds of ready-to-use templates to build beautiful online stores, AI tools to write product descriptions and enhance your product photography, and built-in marketing to create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into reality at shopify.com/excellence. I want to bring in a couple ideas or a couple things that we talk about often, which is peace of mind and happiness. I want to talk about how our recognition around these categories of complaints affect our peace of mind and affect our happiness. And the first thing I think about is, and I'm probably not going to get it right, but the Arthur Brooks calculation of happiness is where you are versus divided by where you want to be. Is that close to what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he says what you have versus what you want.
Yeah. So like just recognizing that, and then recognizing, all right, if we can do all this work, if we can like recognize that these are just stories we tell ourselves, again, to the degree that we do, that we can choose a better story, that we can recognize, is this category 1, 2, 3, et cetera.
Yep.
And then start to recognize, oh, okay, well, if I want to get myself closer to peace of mind within this scenario, within this context, I can either increase where I am or I can decrease what I want, right? Like there's traffic. The traffic is making me angry, frustrated, whatever. Well, if I can decrease my desire for there not to be traffic, I increase my chances of getting back to, again, a neutral state or even a happy state. And recognizing like those are the two levers we have. It's either changing, get off the highway and get out of traffic, or care less about being in traffic. And oftentimes I think we don't do either of those. I think we just sit and stew.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Is like, because when I hear his, I immediately, meaning it's what you have versus what you want. I immediately go to like, it's all like bigger things, right?
Yep.
It's, do I have the career I want? Am I living the place I want? Is it the marriage I want? Have I got the earning that I want? Do I have the house that I want? Driving the car I want? Do I have the body I want? Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool, as you said, is, well, what if it was like less about that want? It's almost like, because when you say like, okay, just don't want as much, does that mean like don't want as nice of a body, don't want as much money, don't want to live in as nice of a house? It's like, that's kind of weird. But I think the idea, which I love, is when it comes to these categories, what if you just didn't care as much about the ones and the twosies?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like that. Like, I don't care if it's drizzling or not. Meaning, I don't care if someone gives me the wrong milk in my coffee. I don't care if there's headwind on my bike. Mm-hmm. I don't care if there's pedestrians.
If the beach is messy. Yeah.
I don't care if the beach is like that, right? That's kind of a cool thing. It sounds like, well, wait a minute, then you're caring less. It's like, isn't that negative? It's like, no.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. What we want to do is care less about the things that matter less.
Yeah.
These things don't matter.
Yeah.
And this is what, kind of like I said at the punchline of the whole end of the thing, is like, people are suffering not from problems, but from mislabeling them. Mm-hmm. And if you don't care about the small ones, well, then what happens is when the big ones pop up, you have the energy. You're not exhausted from caring about everything. It's basically like, now that I'm saying it, it's the subtle art of not giving an F.
Yep.
That's exactly what Mark Manson's whole punchline is.
Yeah.
It's like, stop caring. Don't give an F about all these little things. Yep. There's actually another book called, I'm going to get it wrong. The subtitle is something along the lines of, it's something like how to stop caring about little things. ... Most of life is about the little things. Yeah. Like it's just pulling your attention.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think about most things don't matter at all. And the things that do matter a ton. And part of our job is to make sure we're parsing through all of the stimulus thrown at us to figure out, is this in the bucket of things that don't matter, or is this in the bucket of things that do matter?
And that's what we kind of started in the beginning with, is like your mind, we're designed to think that everything matters. Yep. And we're designed to seek out problems. So for that reason, there's no calibration. Yep. Right? There's no differentiation. It's like problem, full attention, go.
Yes.
Like solve, give everything, just like it would be if it was a category 4 or 5, give everything to this thing. Yep. And this is the idea, is like the wisdom is in the calibration.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that word. I'm so glad you just brought that word in, calibrate.
Yeah, not overreacting to the small, mild frictions, but also not underreacting to the real pain, right? To me, that's what emotional maturity is. That's what dealing with life appropriately is. Yep. It's like right emotion, right amount at the right time.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah, love that. To back up just a little bit, one of the, when you say like, does it mean we don't care? And I think there's a degree to which, yes, it means we don't care. But really, if you were to unpack that sentence a little bit more, it's that we aren't going to let those things determine our peace of mind. We're not going to let those things be the determinant of our momentary happiness from moment to moment to moment. I'm not going to let the traffic knock me off center. I'm not going to let a messy beach knock me off center. I'm going to choose to point my attention towards something good or neutral. I'm not going to point it towards something else. I'm not going to let something that doesn't matter feel like it matters. And so it's a little bit different, because I think you can easily go to the end of that line of like, well, nothing matters. And then nobody wants to
category hurricanes
yeah.
and devastating earthquakes matter.
Yeah. And so
when
I think it's just about like
outside,
recognizing
that does not matter.
Yeah.
Right?
It's recognizing what we mean in this case by what matters and what doesn't matter. It's what's going to pull my attention away from where I want to point it towards things that don't matter. And that's ultimately, I think, what we're talking about.
What can help navigate that in real time? Because again, we're problem-seeking machines,
yep.
and everything is going to seem to matter in the moment, is having perspective. And you try to zoom out, and it's that we've talked about this before. Is this going to matter in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years? Right? If this is going to still matter in 5 years, we should be giving this attention. Mm-hmm. This should be a thing. If it pulls us into a negative, okay, but guess what? There's a hurricane coming. We got to deal with this thing. That's a negative, but go deal with it. Mm-hmm. To your point, if this isn't going to matter in 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, like, boom, like that's the thing. That's the decision-making machine of like, should I give this more attention than it seems? Should I give this the attention that it seems like it wants right now? Mm-hmm. And the art and science of this is learning how to do that, right? Learning how to, okay, this seems like a big deal. My emotions are really high. I'm massively triggered by this thing. But wait a minute. Like if I was to zoom out a little bit, not even am I going to like, is this going to matter? Am I even going to remember this in 5 months? And I promise you, like no day that it drizzled will you remember that.
No.
It's not going to happen.
If you think about like, and I do this all the time, but like if you pop open whatever your phone, whatever app you use to save your pictures, Google Photos, Apple Photos, whatever. If you think about going back and scrolling back 6 months to just look at the pictures you took that day, the chances of you remembering the thing that put you in a bad mood on the morning that you took that picture of your kid doing the cute thing, the chances of you remembering that is almost none. Almost none. Certainly none if it's that category 1 or category 2 that we've talked about. There won't be any bit of you that will remember like, oh yeah, it was really annoying when I had that Zoom meeting that morning. You won't remember it.
It was, yeah. You're in a bad mood because your kid for the 3rd, 4th, 5th day in a row left their bowl in the living room.
Yep.
Right? And you're like, please put the bowl in the sink. But like, again, like when that child is 25 years old, you're not going to remember that at all. Yeah. And if it pulls you down, that's when we're not right emotion, right amount, right time. It's okay to get a little frustrated. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, a little. Like these are minor annoyances.
Calibrate it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, categorize it. So it's a minor annoyance. So treat it as such. Yeah. Dang it. He did it again. Hey, have the conversation, see what best thing you can do to move forward. But then, tomorrow it's not going to be drizzling. Yeah. Move forward.
Last thing I want to bring up, I want to go back a little bit. You said something, I think we were talking about category 4 or 5s, and you were saying something like, who will you be on the other side of this? Or this thing is going to change you on the other side of it. And what I think is really interesting is that's totally true. Even to a degree, like category 3 could have that depending on what it is, but category 4 or 5 certainly is going to change us when we go through it. And that's to the degree that it is, it's inevitable. But what I thought about when you said that is, okay, so who will you be on the other side of this? Well, it depends on some level who you are going into it. And category 1, category 2, even in the category 3 is, to your point, or to use your words, is like, that's the training ground. And so who you are, in the same way that like you sign up for a 5K or a 10K or an ultra, that is going to change you on some level. And the degree that it changes you, or the direction that it changes you, depends on who you were on the day at the starting line. So who or how did you train in the category 1, the category 2, the category 3 environments or contexts? That is going to change the degree or the direction that you are changed when those really big things come. And so that's why it's important to be recognizing on a daily basis, is this a category 1 that I'm treating like a category 3? Is this a category 2 that I'm blowing way out of proportion? Because those are the reps, those are the mental reps that when we get to the starting line, even if we don't know that it is the starting line of a category 4 or 5, we're strong enough, we're conditioned enough to be able to withstand it as best we can.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? We need to treat the cat 1s and 2s, right? The momentary frictions, the minor inconveniences, the disruptions of daily convenience for what they are, opportunities to get stronger.
Yep.
Right? And we got to learn to be able to handle hard better. So that when we get those big ones, if we don't, let's say it another way, if we don't do that, and those things we treat as big ones, when the big ones come, it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
We implode. We are left with no solid footing. It's essentially like the sick, well, fit continuum, right? If we haven't done the work to be at least well or closer to fit, and we're already sick, and life hits us with something bad, that's bad news.
Yeah.
Like if you have a real big underlying condition, meaning like you have really advanced cancer, you're going through chemo, you're sick. Like if that's the case, if you get a small flu, you have no immune system. That's life hitting you with a flu. Usually no big deal. If you get a flu when you are in that compromised position, that could be horrific. It's the same thing here. If you're weak emotionally, mentally, spiritually, if we haven't done the work to become a more formidable mental and emotional human being by understanding how to train through 1s and 2s, when the thing happens, it's going to rock us to the point where we might not return from it in a good way. Mm-hmm. To a point where you said you're going to come out a different person on the other side if you've done some of the work beforehand, and you can enter that at least with a strong footing. You can grow from these things. But I know from a personal example, a couple who lost their only son. Mm. They were never the same on the other side of that in a tragic way, right? They lost the meaning of life. They're just basically two souls floating around this earth right now, and they're empty. There's nothing. Whereas someone like Mo Goddard, who we've talked about this before, who wrote Solve for Happy, same deal, lost his son on the operating table from a mistake that the doctor made. How easy would it be for him to be vengeful, spiteful, a victim, came out of it further along than he was before in terms of his fulfillment and the meaning of life for him. So I think it absolutely makes a ton of difference of have you done the work beforehand. ... It's never too late to start to put in the work.
Yes.
Right? Like if you are physically sick and you get sicker, like you giving up is the worst thing to do. The best thing to do is to do all the things necessary to try to get yourself as healthy as possible in that moment. Sleep better, eat better, get movement and exercise, get outside, connect with other people. It's the same thing with this. If you find yourself getting rocked by one of these categories or 5s, it's not like, well, dang, didn't do the work to prepare. Now is the right time to do that. Try to gain perspective. Try to do what you can. Let all the little things go in between. Focus on these big, big, big issues right in front of you.
I think it's a good place to wrap up. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you so very much for tuning into the show this week. 2 quick things before we go. The first, if you want even more from this episode, I do recommend you check out the full listener guide where we break down all the big ideas. We ask reflection questions. We give you steps to put these ideas into action. The link is in the show notes. And the second thing, while you're there, check out the Chase Club. It's our premium membership where we include bonus content, ad-free episodes, and the brand new Chase Tracker app. Check it all out at chasingexcellence.email.
My place in tech changes every day, but I don't fear the future because I'm with the leader, Pluralsight. Their online learning platform has the hands-on, expert-led courses I need to master new tech skills and create bigger impacts, so I can learn quickly and stay ahead. With Pluralsight, I don't fear what's next. I embrace it. Tap in at pluralsight.com and see for yourself.